Welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. This is a safe space where we invite healthcare providers to unapologetically be themselves after the working day. My name is Jennifer George, and each week I will connect you with guests and stories that will help transform your stress to success and fulfillment. Are you with me? Grab your drink of choice and let's chat. Hey everyone, welcome to the Healthcare Provider Happy Hour. I'm your host, Jennifer George, and I'm joining you this evening with just a cup of tea. I want to talk about one big leadership type ability that will change your practice if you can start implementing it today or even start thinking about it and considering it, and that is seeing the big picture. So oftentimes when students come into my clinical space and they're working with me for a few weeks, one of the first things I say to them is I see you as a peer, right? I'm going to treat you as if you are about to start practice tomorrow. In some cases, students are going right into practice after the clinical placement. So I try to make it a point for them to start imagining and envisioning themselves already practicing while they're learning with me. And the reason why I do this is to start setting them up for bigger minded thinking. Okay, so when you're a student and you're getting into entry level practice and you're on your clinical placements and things like that, your ability to see the big picture is difficult, right? Because what you're focusing on is passing your exams and your tests, and you're focusing on, content to content, subject to subject, exam to exam, and you're not really able to see the bigger picture of healthcare and where you fit into the bigger system. And indeed, some of that will come with time and experience, but I do believe that the sooner you can start seeing the bigger picture of healthcare, that will only make you a better practitioner as time evolves. So for me and my students, I don't really put too much emphasis on what they can reference, although that's definitely important, but I don't put that as the priority. I want them to more or less see the bigger picture of healthcare and where they can help their patients thrive in it, because sometimes it has nothing to do with our knowledge, and sometimes it has everything to do with just being a good advocate. So, so as you can imagine, being a student, you're not able to see the bigger picture as much. But once you get into clinical practice, and why you even got into healthcare to begin with is because you believe that what you do matters, right? But if you believe that what you do matters, then somehow you must see or be able to see the collective efforts that you're putting in with every patient, and see that in the bigger picture of how it impacts the system and also how it impacts their livelihood moving forward. And so if you believe that what you do matters, what you will start to notice is a pattern of things, right? You're going to start to look at overall patterns of the system. And once you start to see the bigger picture and the patterns of the system, you're going to start to see areas that you thrive in. You're going to start to see where your strengths are. And then you're also going to see areas that you might need improvement in. You're also going to see areas in which the system itself might need improvement in. You're also going to see areas in which there's unfairness, inequality. You start to see just a bigger pattern of things, and you can become more passionate at becoming an advocate of healthcare overall, not just for what you do within your own siloed profession. The other thing I want you to think about is how seeing the bigger picture will then allow you to also consider so many different perspectives, especially if you are working in an interdisciplinary or interprofessional type practice. You can start to see everybody's perspective, and of course, including your patients and their caregivers. And the more you start to do that, that only makes you a stronger advocate as well. patients start to see you as someone who's empowering them and someone who's also advocating for them. And finally, one of the biggest reasons as well to see the bigger picture in healthcare is because it makes you a better team player. If you are a professional who's kind of stuck in your ways and you can't really see beyond or let go of control beyond what you do and start to empower your patients or even your team members and stuff like that, then you will find that it's hard for you to see the bigger picture. So sometimes you might feel misunderstood, or you might feel like you're misunderstanding. And that often comes from the fact that maybe you're unable to see what others are seeing in your team, right? So I often think that by seeing the bigger picture, you become a better team player, because then you're able to communicate these patterns perhaps that you're seeing and see a vision moving forward and hopefully influence others to join you or to see your perspective or to offer their perspective and to empower them to start advocating for what they believe should be happening in healthcare right now, right? Because not one person knows it all, but sometimes I feel like in healthcare, there is that loneliness that happens where it all falls, or it feels like it falls on one provider, when in reality it doesn't. It doesn't have to be that way. So those are kind of key reasons why seeing the bigger picture will help you thrive in clinical practice. Obviously, when you're still a student, when you're an entry-level practice, your first 0 to 5 years or so, it's going to be hard to see the bigger picture. But if you can just start adopting the mindset and starting to appreciate it, what you'll do is you'll start to kind of fall into it. You'll start to inevitably see it for what it is. And what you're going to find is you might even feel more confident. You might even find that your flow with your patients becomes a little more natural, because you're not just seeing their impairment and you're not just seeing what it is that you are mechanically trying to treat, but rather you are seeing the bigger picture. So you might be talking about navigating the system with them, coordinating their services, giving them ideas and strategies to help with maybe getting more care or whatever it might be that they might need. You're kind of their go-to, and you kind of connect the dots and you help them plan. That's seeing the bigger picture, and that's a lot of what I do in my practice. I don't see myself as just a physio providing direct care. I see myself also as everything in between that. And I really believe that that's given me more purpose with my practice, but it's also helped me to advocate more strongly for my patients and for caregivers to be a part of and partners in their own care. So let me know what you guys think. Is this a thought you've considered? Or do you find that you are kind of still stuck in a more narrow-minded, small picture mentality where you're more worried about your direct care and your direct care outcomes rather than seeing how what you provide impacts the whole system too? So let me know if you guys like this podcast. Take a screenshot, tag me. I will be sure to share it with others. And if you could leave a 5-star review, as usual, on iTunes, I would so appreciate it. It really helps me to move this podcast forward. If you're wondering, like, Jen, how do I look at the bigger picture? How do I even wrap my head around that? It's not something that happens overnight. All I ask is that for now you become aware of it, you see the benefits of it, and you link up with somebody who can mentor you or coach you in that direction, because it really is liberating too when you see the bigger picture behind things. And it, like I said, it gives you more meaning and more purpose in your work, a lot deeper than just providing direct clinical care. So until we chat next time, guys, remember to stay well, stay happy. And just so you know, my handle on Instagram is @bestobsessed_with_Jen if you want to chat further about this topic or anything else related. Okay, guys, have an amazing rest of the week, and we'll talk soon. So if you guys like this podcast, please subscribe and leave an honest review. Your feedback means everything to me. Your reviews are what moves this podcast forward, and I always appreciate receiving them. If you want to get a hold of me directly, reach out to me on social media. My handles are in the show notes, and you can always subscribe to my weekly newsletters at jennifergeorge.co so that we can stay connected. So until next time, thank you guys so much again for your ongoing support.